Wow, the tension in the Black Sea is escalating dramatically. Is it true that Russia shot at a Turkish ship carrying sunflower oil just one day after an incident in which an attack triggered a fire on a Turkish vessel in a Ukrainian port? The narrative coming from Ukraine has become the talk of international media. Let's dive deeper. The sky above the Black Sea is no longer merely a blue canvas sheltering peaceful trade routes. It has metamorphosed into a deadly geopolitical chessboard, where every move is calculated with the cold precision of cutting-edge military technology. Amid the roar of the waves and the uncertainty that blankets these strategic waters, the Russian Federation has once again asserted its dominance through a series of tactical maneuvers that not only shook its adversaries but also sent a very clear message to the world about the superiority of its weaponry. The events that unfolded in mid-December were not just an ordinary maritime incident, but a measured demonstration of power, an orchestration of technology that lifts the veil on how modern warfare is won, not merely through bravery, but through artificial intelligence, hypersonic propulsion, and unblinking eagle eyes from space. It all began on December 12th, when the port of Odessa, long the logistical lifeline of Ukraine, was rocked by a deafening explosion. The target was the vessel Cenk T, a ferry officially registered as a passenger and cargo ship flying the Panamanian flag, owned by the Turkey-based company Cenk T. However, the innocent narrative of a civilian ship lying at anchor quickly collapsed when one considers the instrument used to strike it, a tactical Iskander ballistic missile. In Russian military doctrine, the Iskander is not a weapon fired casually at targets of no strategic value. The use of a system of this caliber implies one indisputable fact. Something was hidden within the hull of the Cenk T, something far more dangerous than ordinary commercial cargo. Russian intelligence, known for its dense and far-reaching information networks, would not squander a multi-million-dollar asset merely to destroy scrap metal, but to neutralize a real threat concealed behind a civilian flag. The superiority of the Iskander missile in this operation became the central highlight, demonstrating just how far Russia's defense technology has leapt ahead of its adversaries' air defense systems. The Iskander is not merely a conventional ballistic missile following a predictable parabolic trajectory. It is a nightmare for any anti-missile system, including the Western-made systems touted by Ukraine. With hypersonic speeds reaching Mach 6 or more, the Iskander can execute extreme evasive maneuvers during the terminal phase of flight, deploy decoys, and dive toward its target with terrifying accuracy, often with a margin of error of just a few meters. When its warhead struck the Cenk T, it was proof of flawless mathematical calculation, an execution in which a high-value target attempting to hide in a busy port was isolated and destroyed without mercy. It was a message that there is no safe hiding place, even behind the facade of a ferry, once Russian surveillance has locked onto its coordinates. Just one day later, on December 13th, the drama in the Black Sea continued into a new and even more intense chapter, this time in open waters, far from the safety of protected coastlines. Ukraine quickly accused Russia of attacking another Turkish vessel, VIVA, which was en route to Egypt carrying a cargo of sunflower oil. However, if we look beyond the victimhood rhetoric being played, what emerges is a striking demonstration of operational reach. The attack on VIVA took place within Ukraine's exclusive economic zone, an area that should lie beyond the reach of its conventional air defenses, yet one that is fully within the grasp of the Russian military's long arm. VIVA, a 136-meter chemical tanker with a deadweight of over 16,000 tons, operated by Chemtanker Shipping, became a silent witness to the evolution of Russian naval warfare tactics, which now rely on long-range precision. What makes the VIVA incident particularly compelling for military observers is the discovery of drone engine debris on the ship's deck after the crew managed to extinguish the fire. Circulating video footage shows an engine that is largely intact, soon identified as bearing a striking resemblance to that used in the Geran 2 drone. This discovery is more than mere forensic evidence. It confirms Russia's remarkable technological adaptability. The Geran 2 used in this attack was not a blind kamikaze variant flying solely toward GPS coordinates. The fact that the vessel was targeted while sailing in open seas, a dynamically moving target in the middle of the ocean, indicates the use of a far more advanced Geran 2 variant equipped with an optical seeker or real-time camera. The effectiveness of this Geran 2 variant dramatically changes the rules of the game. Previously, such drones were considered effective only against static land targets. Russia has now demonstrated a loitering munition capability capable of hunting targets at sea. Equipped with video cameras and supported by a relay drone network to extend communication signals, Russian operators can see exactly what the drone sees in real time, allowing for precise terminal guidance even against maneuvering vessels. Technology presentations previously shared by Iran with the Russian military confirm that this variant has an operational range of up to 220 kilometers, a deadly radius that effectively seals off escape routes in the Black Sea. The operating mechanism of this optically guided Geran 2 is highly efficient and, from a military standpoint, extremely cost-effective yet lethal. The drone can patrol, visually identify a target, and then dive at high speed into a ship's vital points. Even though the VIVA crew managed to extinguish the fire, the successful strike still represents a strategic victory for Russia. Its impact goes far beyond the physical damage to a single tanker. It is effective psychological warfare. Russia has demonstrated its ability to monitor and reach every inch of waters it considers a threat zone without deploying large and costly warships. It can disrupt enemy logistics or economic routes that finance the enemy at a fraction of the cost of the damage inflicted. Had this attack completely disabled VIVA, it would have served as a stark warning to any commercial entity attempting to covertly support logistics in a conflict zone without the de facto approval of the current master of the Black Sea. Of course, this action does not exist in a vacuum. Ukraine, in its desperation, has recently attempted retaliatory strikes against what it calls Russia's shadow fleet. 2 oil tankers in the Black Sea and 2 cargo vessels in the Caspian Sea allegedly carrying Iranian cargo. However, these sporadic attacks appear pale and reactive when compared to the systematic pattern Moscow is building. While Ukraine resorts to hit-and-run disruptions, Russia is constructing a maritime siege architecture supported by the integration of satellite intelligence, high-precision ballistic missiles such as Iskander, and fleets of smart drones like the Geran 2. A new pattern seems to be emerging in Russian military strategy, one in which technology is the decisive factor. Russia is no longer relying solely on massive explosive force, but instead shifting toward surgical strikes that simultaneously cripple logistics and morale. The targeting of the Cenk T and VIVA vessels is a manifestation of this new doctrine. No target is too difficult, no distance too far, and no civilian cover sufficient to conceal military intent in the face of Russia's advanced sensors. That's all for today's episode, and thanks for watching.